This video is on ultrasonic inspection. Sound waves are produced by a vibrating body when the particles of the medium in which the body vibrates oscillates longitudinally about a fixed mean position. The waves produced are called longitudinal waves. If the vibrations are at right angles to the direction of the sound, they are called transverse or shear waves. Shear waves that travel along the surface of a material but do not appreciably extend into the material are known as surface or relay waves. Ultrasonic waves that are used for non-destructive inspection vary in frequency from 200 kHz to 25 MHz, and they may be reflected, focused, or refracted. This sound energy will propagate through a solid or a liquid material in much the same manner as a focused beam of light travels in air, and the waves are not absorbed to any great extent. This property makes sound energy usable not only in non-destructive inspection but for sonar operation and for ultrasonic cleaning. Ultrasonic inspection is a highly specialized field that requires an intimate knowledge of the method used as well as the behavior of sound waves in materials of varying density and elasticity. In a text such as this, it is impossible to cover more than the fundamentals. A person who wants to specialize in non-destructive inspection can get specialized training in the intricacies of ultrasonic inspection as well as the other types of inspection at school conducted by the manufacturers of the test equipment. Now, first is piezoelectricity. A piezoelectric material is one that has the properties of producing an electrical potential when it is pressed, bent, or otherwise distorted, and when it is subjected to an electrical potential of it is physically distorted. This makes it useful as a transducer for introducing physical vibrations into the material being tested. An electronic oscillator produces alternating current of the proper frequency. This AC is amplified to the proper strength and then it is sent to a transducer coupled to the material being tested. The energy will be introduced into the material and will vibrate at the frequency the oscillator produces. This video is on ultrasonic inspection. Sound waves are produced by a vibrating body when the particles of the medium in which the body vibrates oscillates longitudinally about a fixed mean position. The waves produced are called longitudinal waves. If the vibrations are at right angles to the direction of the sound, they are called transverse or shear waves. Shear waves that travel along the surface of a material but do not appreciably extend into the material are known as surface or relay waves. Ultrasonic waves that are used for non-destructive inspection vary in frequency from 200 kHz to 25 MHz, and they may be reflected, focused, or refracted. This sound energy will propagate through a solid or a liquid material in much the same manner as a focused beam of light travels in air, and the waves are not absorbed to any great extent. This property makes sound energy usable not only in non-destructive inspection but for sonar operation and for ultrasonic cleaning. Ultrasonic inspection is a highly specialized field that requires an intimate knowledge of the method used as well as the behavior of sound waves in materials of varying density and elasticity. In a text such as this, it is impossible to cover more than the fundamentals. A person who wants to specialize in non-destructive inspection can get specialized training in the intricacies of ultrasonic inspection as well as the other types of inspection at school conducted by the manufacturers of the test equipment. Now, first is piezoelectricity. A piezoelectric material is one that has the properties of producing an electrical potential when it is pressed, bent, or otherwise distorted, and when it is subjected to an electrical potential of it is physically distorted. This makes it useful as a transducer for introducing physical vibrations into the material being tested. An electronic oscillator produces alternating current of the proper frequency. This AC is amplified to the proper strength and then it is sent to a transducer coupled to the material being tested. The energy will be introduced into the material and will vibrate at the frequency the oscillatory produces. Number 2 is introduction of energy into the material being tested. There are three basic ways in which ultrasonic energy can be introduced into the test specimen. The first is by direct contact on only one side of the material. The energy is transmitted from this point and the return echo also received here. The second method uses a transducer on both sides of the material, one to introduce the pulse into the material and the other to receive the signal and send it to the cathode ray tube, that is in bracket CRT. The third way of getting the energy into the material is an immersion method in which the test specimen is immersed in water and the transducer beams its energy through the water to the surface of the part. The type of wave, longitudinal, transverse or surface, that is directed to the material is determined by the orientation of the transducer with the surface. This orientation is brought about by using wedges of the proper shape between the transducers and the surface. These wedges are usually made of acrylic plastic and a film of water or oil is used between the transducers, the wedge and the surface to ensure a more intimate contact. This film is called a coupling. In ultrasonic testing, for the ultrasonic detection equipment has made it possible to locate defects in all types of materials without damaging the material being inspected. Minute cracks, checks and voids too small to be seen by X-ray are located by ultrasonic inspection. An ultrasonic test instrument requires access to only one surface of the material to be inspected and can be used with either straight line or angle beam testing techniques. Two basic methods are used for ultrasonic inspection. The first of this method is immersion testing. In the method of inspection, the part under examination and the search units are totally immersed in a liquid couplant, which I have described earlier, which may be water or any other suitable fluid. The second method is called contact testing. This I also discussed, which is readily adapted to field use and is the method discussed in this chapter. In this method, the part under examination and the search unit are coupled with a viscous material, liquid or a paste, which wets both the face of the search unit and the material under examination. There are two basic ultrasonic systems. Number one is pulsed and number two is resonance. The pulse systems may be either echo or through transmission. The echo is the most versatile of the two pulse systems. Now in pulse ecosystem, a cathode ray oscilloscope which uses a CRT is used as a fault indication for ultrasonic inspections. A time-based signal produces a straight line across the CRT screen, and when a pulse of energy is sent into the material, a peep or peak occurs on the horizontal line. The energy travels through the material unit. It reaches its back side where it is reflected back to the transducer. The energy received by the transducer will cause it to produce a second peep on the time basic line. There is a definite relationship between the physical distance between the front and back surface of the test piece and the distance between the peeps of the time base line. A calibrated grid may be placed in front of the CRT and the equipment adjusted to place the front surface peep on the calibration line to serve as reference. The second adjustment on the test equipment allows us to carry the distance between the front and the rear surface peeps so that we are establish a distance between the peeps that is representative of the thickness of the material. When an ultrasonic test is being made on an aircraft skin to determine whether or not there is a corrosion on the inside of the surface, the transducer is held against a piece of skin of the same material and thickness that is known to be free of corrosion, and the distance between the front and the back surface peeps is adjusted to a specific distance as indicated by the marks on the grid. Now when the transducer is moved over the skin being tested, any movement of the back surface peep closer to the front surface peep indicates a decrease in skin thickness that could possibly be caused by corrosion. Further investigation must be made. In the example above, a piece of like skin material of known condition was used as a test specimen or block. The manufacturer of the parts being tested is most cases will already have designed a test block with which to calibrate the instrument or will state the method of calibration. In any case, a test block or calibration part must be used before any ultrasonic inspection has a real validity. In this pulse echo, further flaws are detected by measuring the amplitude of signals reflected and the time required for these signals to travel between specific surface and the discontinuity. The time base which is triggered simultaneously with each transmitter pulse caused a spot to sweep across the screen of the CRT, that is cathode ray tube. The spot sweeps from left to right across the face of the scope 50 to 5000 times per second or higher if required for high speed automated scanning. Due to the speed of the cycle of transmitting and receiving, the picture on the oscilloscope appears to be stationary. A few microseconds after the sweep is initiated, the rate generator electrically excites the pulsar and the pulsar emits an electrical pulse. The transducer converts this pulse into a short train of ultrasonic sound waves. If the interfaces of the transducer and the specimen are properly oriented, the ultrasound will be reflected back to the transducer when it reaches the internal flow and the opposite surface of the specimen. The time interval between the transmission of the initial impulse and the reception of the signals from within the specimen is measured by these timing circuits. The reflected pulse received by the transducer is amplified, then transmitted to the oscilloscope. When the pulse received from the flow is displayed on the CRT screens, the pulse is displayed in the same relationship to the front and back pulses on the floor is in relation to the front and back surfaces of the specimen. For this, I am giving you figure to understand. Now, the reflectoscope is a pulse type instrument. The reflectoscope can be used for the detection of defects such as cracks, holes, inclusions, delaminations, partial belts, voids, shrinks, porosity, flaking, and other subsurface defects. The principle of operation is pictured in figure, which I am going to show you. In this picture, where electrical pulses are transformed by the crystal into ultrasonic vibrations, which are transmitted into the material. The portion of the electrical pulse delivered to the cathode ray tube causes an initial pulse indications, as shown in the figure. And in figure view A, the back reflection has formed in the view V, the vibration having traveled to the bottom of the part and reflected back to the searching unit, which transforms them back into electrical pulses. The screen vertical indication of their return is known as first back reflection indication. If a defect is present in view C, a portion of the vibration traveling through the material is reflected from the defect, causing an additional indication of the screen. The horizontal sweep travel indicates the time elapsed since the vibration left the crystal. This type of operation, referred to as straight beam testing, is suitable for the detection of flaws whose places are parallel to the plane of the part. By means of angle beam testing, also referred to as shear wave testing, the usefulness of the reflectoscope includes the following. Number 1. Flows whose planes lie at an angle to the plane of the part. Number 2. Discontinuities in areas that cannot be reached with the standard straight beam technique. Now, number 3. Some internal defects in plate and sheet stock. Number 4. Some types of internal defects in tubing, pipe, and bar stock, such as inclusions and small cracks near the surface. Number 5. Cracks in parent metal resulting from welding. Number 6. Some defects in welds. Now, angle beam testing differs from straight beam testing only in the manner in which the ultrasonic waves pass through the material being tested, as shown in the figure which I am giving you. In this, the beam is projected into the material at an acute angle to the surface by means of a crystal cut at an angle and mounted in plastic. The beam or a portion thereof reflects successively from the surfaces of the material or any other discontinuity, including the edge of the piece. In straight beam testing, the horizontal distance on the screen between the initial pulse and the first back reflection represents the thickness of the piece, while the angle beam testing, this distance represents in the width of the material between the searching unit and the opposite edge of the piece. Number B is resonance system. The resonance system is used to measure the thickness of material which has consistent thickness and smooth surfaces. Its principle of operation differs from that of the pulse echo system in that it depends upon matching the frequency to the resonance point of the material being tested. The frequency may be 2 times the thickness of the material, which is the fundamental frequency, or harmonics, which are multiples of the material thicknesses, as illustrated in figure which I am giving you. The resonance is displayed vertically on the CRT. Material thicknesses can be determined by comparing the test information to a transparent scale, which is overlaid on the CRT display. This method of inspection is effective in locating wear or corrosion, which would result in a reduction of thickness in a variety of materials. Further, to read about resonance system, this system differs from the pulse method in that the frequency of transmission is or can be continuously varied. The resonance method is principally used for thickness measurement when the two sides of the material being tested are smooth and parallel. The point at which the frequency matches the resonance point of the material being tested is the thickness determining factor. It is necessary that the frequency of the ultrasonic waves corresponding to a particular dial setting be accurately known. Checks should be made with standard test blocks to guard against possible drift of frequency. If the frequency of an ultrasonic wave is such that its wavelength is twice the thickness of a specimen in bracket fundamental frequency, then the reflected wave will arrive back at the transducer in the same phase as the original transmission, so that strengthening of the signal or a resonance will occur. If the frequency is increased so that 3 times the wavelength equals 4 times the thicknesses, then the reflected signal will return completely out of the phase with the transmitted signal and cancellation will occur. Further increase of the frequency so that the wavelength is equal to the thickness again, given a reflected signal in phase with the transmitted signal, and resonance occurs and more. By starting at the fundamental frequency and gradually increasing the frequency, the successive cancellations and resonance can be noted, and the reading used to check the fundamental frequency reading. In some instruments, the oscillator circuit contains a motor-driven capacitor which changes the frequency of the oscillator. For this figure is this one. In other instruments, the frequency is changed by electronic means. The change in frequency is synchronized with the horizontal sweep of a CRT. The horizontal axis thus represents a frequency range. If the frequency range contains resonances, the circuitry is arranged to present these vertically calibrated transparent scales are then placed in front of the tube, and the thickness can be read directly. The instruments normally operate between 0.25 micron and 10 micron in 4 or 5 bands. The resonant thickness instrument can be used to test the thickness of such metals as steel, cast iron, brass, nickel, copper, silver, lead, aluminum, and magnesium. In addition, areas of corrosion or wear on tanks, tubing, airplane, wing skins, and other structures or products can be located and evaluated. Direct reading dial-operated units are available that measure thickness between 0.025 inch and 3 inches with an accuracy of better than ±1%. Ultrasonic inspection requires a skilled operator who is familiar with the equipment being used as well as the inspection method to be used for the many different parts being tested.